Hello again. In today's video, I will talk to you about the safety protocols for the electronic equipment, devices, and testing tools used in the construction of unmanned aerial vehicles. What we refer to as safety protocols are essentially general principles and rules established to ensure that these products do not cause harm to their surroundings, themselves, or any objects or people nearby during their use or storage. When it comes to safety protocols, it's a crucial topic. We use electronic equipment to prevent harm because we use electronic equipment a lot during the production, repair, and maintenance of a drone. This is very important in terms of not harming ourselves and not harming the equipment in its circuit or itself. So, how can we relate the safety protocols to the electronic equipment on the drone or the equipment we use during the testing and construction phases? To do this, I would like to divide today's topic into three categories. The first category is the electronic equipment used on the drone. What are these? Our flight control cards, our motors, speed controllers, our ESCs, our lithium polymer batteries, and the rest of our development cards, our cameras. In short, it covers all the electronic equipment, whether mandatory or not, that we have mentioned in previous videos. These electronic components are hazardous due to high power and current needs during flight, maintaining drone maneuverability. Lithium polymer batteries are risky due to high current capacity, potentially causing explosions, overheating, or arcing in reverse operation or short circuit. Especially lithium polymer batteries can be dangerous because of their high current, which can lead to incidents such as explosions, overheating, or sparking during reverse use or short circuit. We must conduct our operations, maintenance, repairs, and construction carefully. These are the sources of concern. While paying attention to all safety protocols, we must also carry out our operations, maintenance, repairs, and construction phases very carefully, and we must always check that the power circuit is disconnected before using the drone or during the assembly phase. The general safety checks for drone electronic equipment are as follows. And we must always check that the power circuit is disconnected before using the drone or during the assembly phase. The general safety checks for drone electronic equipment are as follows. First, during the construction, maintenance, and repair phases of the drone, you should make sure that there are no exposed wires. Apart from the wires that are not exposed, you should ensure that all power cables, meaning the positive and negative wires, are not touching each other, that there are no open circuits, and that there are no short circuits on the drone itself. Especially if you're using a drone with a carbon fiber body. You should also consider that carbon fiber conducts electricity, so you need to make sure there are no exposed copper wires touching the carbon fiber. After detecting these, you need to ensure that the connection silicone or heat shrink tubing of the wires that are joined together on the drone hasn't been damaged in any way. As a result, especially for drones that are ready for flight, it's crucial to individually trace and check all the cables before connecting them to the power circuit. At the same time, it's essential to check each electronic component of your drone systems individually before and after the flight. If there are any exposed wires, you should check their locations using your pinout diagrams and reconnect them. If you have any damaged electronic cables or parts, it's crucial to repair or replace them. In the second part, we will discuss our testing equipment. It's also important to check your pinout diagrams and reconnect them, and if you have any damaged electronic cables or parts, you must repair or replace them. In the second part, we will discuss our testing equipment. If you want to test them in case of any malfunction on the drone or during the construction phase, there are certain materials you can use to test our products and electronic devices. We mentioned these in our previous videos. For example, multimeters. Yes, multimeters are devices that can measure voltage, current, and resistance. These devices need to be handled carefully both during storage and while in use. If you take measurements with your multimeters from unnecessary points or cause too much current to pass through them, or if you use them beyond their capacity or intended purpose, you will find that your multimeters or other testing devices are damaged. Oscilloscopes test signal cables for faults. These are the tools that help us test our signal cables, allowing us to measure the outputs of the flight control board or other signal-generating electronic devices and determine if they are faulty. Again, during the use of these tools, you should ensure that the cables are being used correctly and for their intended purpose, and you should adjust your working environment accordingly. Our production devices are, in fact, it's one of the most important points for human health because during production, you need to work with high temperatures and at the same time, you must protect yourself in an environment with high voltage and current, while also ensuring the safety of your electronic equipment. It's important to remember that all electronic equipment is made of materials that are vulnerable to static electricity. Therefore, you need to ground yourself before entering the electronic laboratory due to static electricity buildup. It's something you can do by using fixed grounding plates or by touching the ground in any way. Along with that, when using production devices like a soldering station, you need to be especially careful about high temperatures. And you should always have a plastic or metal container where you can place your soldering gun or hot air tool while using them. In addition, you should always be careful about any spillage or splatter from the solder wire you will be using, and during the process, you must definitely wear your protective equipment. You should perform your operation or task in the most suitable way while wearing your goggles. And you must definitely wear your protective equipment during the usage phase. You should perform your operation or task in the most suitable way while wearing your goggles. Basically, when it comes to the construction, maintenance, repair, flight, and post-flight systems of a drone, you must also pay attention to occupational health and safety rules. Protective equipment, gloves, goggles, and the use of masks where necessary are very important for you. Carbon fibers can be more carcinogenic by their nature. However, carbon fibers cause this effect, not when they are stationary, but due to the dust or microparticles they release during the cutting process. So, if you are cutting or drilling carbon fiber during a production phase, you must definitely wear your mask and act accordingly. Additionally, during the cutting and drilling of carbon fiber, you must wash any microparticles that come into contact with your hands, eyes, face, arms thoroughly with plenty of soapy water.